Hi, welcome back to Grammy Squares. We're going to work on lesson 2 today, which is all about single crochet. There's two types of single crochet. There's the yarn over and the yarn under. The yarn over method is best worked in rows, which is what we're going to work on in this lesson. And then yarn under is best worked in the round. This is also referred to as the cross stitch single crochet. It looks like little X's. It's used in amigurumi when you want to see this little X textured pattern on the little animals that you make, fun things in that field. Okay, but with that, today we're going to start with rows. All right, so go ahead and grab your yarn and your hook. And just a quick review of how I wrap my yarn. I have the inside of my wrist facing me, and I'm bringing the tail of my yarn up, over dropping it behind my wrist, and then coming back up my palm between my thumb and pointer finger. Then I'm going to wrap around my pointer finger and grab the yarn between my thumb and middle finger to hold it in place. Okay, this is where I'll be grabbing my yarn from. Okay, then I need to attach my yarn to my hook, and I'm going to do that with a slip knot. So how I do my slip knot is I pinch my yarn and I'm turning it forward to make a loop. Most important part about my loop is that my little tail piece is on the bottom of the loop. Okay, then I'm going to take my hook, put it in from the front through to the back, and then grab yarn by going to the left of the yarn, turning my hook towards the yarn, then twisting the hook up over towards my hand, which is also down, and I'm pulling it through the loop. Okay, now I'm just letting off with my thumb and middle finger. I'm holding the loop on my hook with my finger here. I can pull this string to tighten the slip knot there, not too tight, just snug, and then I can pull this string to kind of snug it up on my hook. I want it to move really easily on my hook. Okay, now to practice the single crochet, I need to start. I'm doing the method that's yarn over that I work in rows. So to start a row, I need to start with a foundation of chain stitches. I'm going to chain long enough so that I can make another bracelet with this stitch to wrap around my wrist. Okay, so for chains, wrapping the yarn, grabbing the yarn with my hook and twisting the hook up and over. When it's facing down, it goes through the loop. Okay, next chain, grab the yarn, my hook's facing the yarn, then I'm twisting, pulling through, twisting, pulling through. Okay, yarn over, pull through the loop, yarn over, pull through the loop. Each and every stitch, I'm moving my yarn hand around, I'm moving. Both hands are constantly working. I want to be holding the last stitch that I worked on. Getting really used to holding the yarn. It can be very frustrating when you're first learning to crochet and getting used to holding the yarn. Stick with it. Your brain's going to get used to the awkwardness, and one day it just won't be awkward anymore. Okay, so here's the length for my wrist. I think my wrists are on the large end, but let me see how many chains I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I have 18, 19 chains, and then I'm going to add one more, which will be my turning chain. Okay, so now to work my first single crochet, I'm going to skip the first chain stitch and work my single crochet into the second chain from the hook. Okay, so let's take a look at this. I want to be looking at the right side of my chain, and how I know I'm looking at the right side is I see a line of V's here, the side with the V's. When I turn the chain over, it has this backbone ridge there. Okay, so this is the wrong side and this is the right side. Wrong side, right side. Okay, so to get to my second chain from hook, I'm not going to count this loop on my hook. I'm going to skip this first chain and I'm going to go into this second chain. Count your bumps on the top here. And we want to go into the top of the second chain. So I'm going into this top bump. Okay, and then I'm going to pull a loop right back through that chain. Okay, so now I have two loops on my hook. I'm going to grab yarn again and yarn over and then pull through both loops. Okay, and I've made my first single crochet. Okay, now I'm going to go to the next loop, the next chain, and I'm going through the top of that chain. I'm going to grab yarn, which is also a yarn over. So yarn over, pull through a loop. Okay, and then yarn over again, pull through two loops. Okay, so you kind of have two motions to make that single crochet. Okay, so the first one is taking your hook and going through the top of the next chain, pull through a loop. Now you have two loops on your chain. You're going to yarn over again and pull through both loops. Okay, then the top of the next chain. Take your hook, push it through. Okay, I'm turning my hook towards my yarn. I'm grabbing it, turning my hook all the way over, pulling it through. Okay, now I have two loops. I'm going to grab yarn again, twist, turn it upside down, pull through both loops. Okay, slow process when we get started, and that's okay. We just want to make sure that we're trying to go through the right hole and that we're doing our stitches technically correct, and the speed will come. Okay, looking at the next stitch, next hole, I'm going through the top versus, let me show you what I mean by going through the top versus going through the bottom. See, on the chain here, there's this bottom loop. Also, I want to make sure that I'm going up through the top. Grab yarn, pull it through. I have two loops on the stitch. I'm going to yarn over and pull through both loops. Okay, top of the loop, grab yarn, bring it through, yarn over again, pull through both loops. Okay, hook into the next chain, grab yarn and pull it through a loop, and then yarn over again, pull through both loops. Top of the next chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two loops. Through the hole, pull through a loop, yarn over, pull through two loops. Top of the chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two loops. Okay, through the top of the chain, grab yarn, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two loops. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two loops. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two loops. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two loops. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two loops. pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Through, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Through a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Almost to the end. Go through the next chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Okay, and then that last little stitch there is really just my slip knot, so I'm leaving that alone. I've gotten to the end of my row, and then this is how we turn to make it taller. We're working in rows, so we need 1 turning chain for a single crochet row, and then I'm just going to turn my work. Let's take a look at it. Here's the finished row. I made 1 chain so that I can turn it. Okay, and then I'm going to begin working single crochets right into that last single crochet I just finished. Okay, so a good way to tell that you're going into the next chain is if you look at the top of your work. See our line of V's there again? Kind of reminds you of what the chain stitch looked like. But this time, instead of just going through the top of the chain, we're going to go through both stitches there, the whole V. See the V on top? Okay, so there's the hole, putting my hook through. I'm just now making the first stitch on the second row, okay? So I'm going to grab yarn and pull it back through that hole. Now I have 2 loops on my hook, and I can yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Okay, then here's my next hole. I can see my V on top. My hook's through and right under that V. Okay, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Okay, then my next chain, go through that hole there, see the V. That's how I can check. Okay, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Okay, then my next stitch, right under that V, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Okay, we're going to go to the end of this row and then we'll be finished with our bracelet. Okay, let's just work together. Okay, so hook goes through the next hole. See, I have my V on top, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, here's my next stitch, right in there, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Okay, see that next hole, the V on top, going right underneath that V. Okay, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Here's my next stitch. I have the V on top, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. My next hole, V on top, yarn over, pull up a loop, grab yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, let's look at the direction of the hook. So I've got my hook facing down as I punch through, pulling it up again so I can grab yarn. When I do this yarn over, I'm twisting my hook down, and that pulls the yarn through. When my hook's facing down when I pull through, it keeps it from snagging on a stitch and making it hard to pull through. Then I'm grabbing yarn again. I've got my hook facing the yarn, then I'm twisting my hook facing down, pulling through 2 loops to make the stitch. Okay, look through, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. These are single crochets over and over. Poke through, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. grab your yarn, pull it right back through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Okay, push through the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Push through this next chain, see my V on top, grab a loop, pull it through, and then yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Stick the hook through, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Okay, take your hook, push it through the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Okay, and then we're at the end here. Last stitch, I'm going under that V, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Okay, so I've got my 2 rows of single crochet, and then I'm going to finish off. How we finish off is I'm just going to cut my yarn, leave yourself, call it a tail, leave yourself a little tail, a few inches long, and then you can pull this tail through that last loop, and that'll tie it for you. And we can go through this other last loop, right? And we made our chain long enough to go around our wrist. Okay, so how I like to do this, when I bring it around, I have my 2 ends together. So this end is hooked to this side. I'm gonna just jam a little hook through over here. Then I can pull this yarn through this side. You can do it with your fingers too if that's easier. Okay, so I just pulled that through, then I'm gonna take this chain and attach it to this side. Okay, so to do that, I'm sticking my hook through anywhere at the end here. And I'm grabbing that yarn and just pulling it through. Okay, so see how I did that? Just kind of locked those 2 stitches. And then I'm just gonna tie them together here in a double knot, but kind of on the loose side. I like these little tie-on bracelets. They're very boho. Okay, so that's just a plain little double knot that I did. Nothing fancy here. And I'm just gonna cut the little tail just so it's not so wonky. And then just, it'll have a little give. Just work that over your wrist. Okay, so now we have a chain stitch bracelet and we have a single crochet bracelet. We are on our way to stardom, I tell ya. Okay, if you have any questions, had any problems with this, leave me a comment so I know how to help you in the next video. Okay? All right, everybody have a good day and happy hooking.